Well, howdy friends, Brian Flechsig at Mad River Outfitters in the Midwest Fly Fishing Schools, and welcome back to another one of our Q&A series. I think we're up to number 800, number 8? Oh, number 8. All right, anyways, thanks as always for being here. We appreciate the hundreds of questions. We're getting to them as soon as we can. Thanks for your patience, but keep them coming. Here we go. Jump right in today. We're going to cover, I think, 3 today. Hello, this is from Eamon Schwartz from Canning, Nova Scotia. My name is Eamon Schwartz and I live and fish in Nova Scotia, Canada. I've watched most videos you guys have done and really appreciate what you guys are doing. Well, Eamon, thank you. We appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. With the season coming to an end and I'm getting ready to put my rod and reel away for the winter, I have 2 questions, and my first is, should I be leaving my fly line on my reel, or is there a better way to store it? Let me answer that right away. You know what? I don't take my fly lines off. Of course, we fish year-round around here, but I do have seasons. I do a lot more trout fishing in the spring than I do in the fall and winter. But, you know, I don't. You could get one of those spools that they sell lines on and take the lines off and put them on there, but I'm not sure why you do that. The coils aren't going to be that much bigger to make that big of a difference. So I would say no. I really don't think there's anything you want to do. Make sure that before you put them away that you clean them and lubricate them. Make sure that you're not storing them in sunlight. Put them in a cabinet or a drawer somewhere. But I don't think you need to take them off your reel. And then he goes on to, going along with this theme, is there a best way in your opinion to store flies during the off season, or the extra flies you have during the season that are not in your fly boxes? And once again, sorry to be boring, but not really. I will say that I do a lot of different things, from saltwater to trout fishing to pike, muskie to carp fishing, so I have a lot of different flies. And what I've taken to doing is having like a main storage place for most of my, say, carp flies. And I use these larger boxes. Of course, these Cliff Bugger Beasts are wildly popular. The Bugger Beast Junior, and then the Bugger Beast, the original Bugger Beast. And they're just giant storage boxes. And what I do is I keep like all of my carp flies in a box like this, and then when I'm heading out for a day's fishing, I probably know at least the categories and types of flies I want to have with me, and I'll transfer them to a smaller box that'll then fit in my vest or my sling pack. So I use these boxes as storage, but I don't normally take flies out of there for the winter. I just store the bulk of my flies in big boxes. This is another one called the Flybrary of Congress. I think we did a review on these at some point. And just another way, of course you can use these as boat boxes. I do carry something like this when I'm heading down to Louisiana and take all my redfish flies, and I do carry it on the boat with me. But obviously if you're just walking, this is not going to fit in your sling pack or vest pack. But again, to answer your question, Eamon, I don't really take my flies out of the boxes for the winter. Just one thing is, make sure when you're putting them away for any length of time, whether it's overnight or whether it's for several months during the winter season, make sure that they're not wet, okay? You want to leave them outside the box and make sure that they dry out before you put them back in the box, okay? So hopefully that helps. Sorry it was kind of a boring answer, but no, I really don't do anything special. Maybe somebody does and they'll chime in, but so anyways, we'll get your hat and your fly box on its way to Nova Scotia, Canada. Thanks as always. And next, Mark Menendez. And Mark doesn't tell me where he's from or give me an address. But Mark writes a very, very long email, which is great. But he starts off by saying, I'm just getting into fly fishing and recently purchased my first rod and reel outfit from your shop last week. Then he goes on, 3 paragraphs there, which I won't read, but at the end he says, so I guess that's the longest thank you I've probably ever given anyone. Ha. But it's the least I could do to let you guys know you've got something special, and just thanks. I'm so relieved to know businesses like yours still exist. Unfortunately, I live in Louisville, so I can't stop in. Louisville. Cool. I can't stop in and shop in person, but perhaps I'll have the pleasure of shaking your hands and meeting you guys at a fly show this winter. Love to run into you. We might be down in Kentucky and a fly fishing show at the end of January. Watch our website for that, Mark. I'd love to meet you. Keep in mind also that you can always shop at madriveroutfitters.com. Actually, coming here to the store, it's ugly. The staff is unfriendly. You're better off shopping on our website anyways. So Mark's question is this. He says, I personally would really appreciate your input and advice on what should I look for and think about as a beginner to fly fishing when looking to purchase my first set of waders. Well, Mark, let's go out on the store floor and have a look. All right, Mark, so here we are on the store floor of Mad River Outfitters. And as you can see, there's tons of choices and tons of different price points. You can always get on our website, of course, and see all the different options that we carry. And we carry them for a reason, because we think that they're the best in their price category. But when it comes to waders, basically what you're buying is first and foremost comfort. The more money you spend on a pair of waders, the more comfortable they should be. They're going to fit better. You know, maybe a more expensive pair of waders has different articulations. They have better suspension systems, and they offer more sizes to kind of finely fit, fine-tune the fit, okay? And also a part of that is the breathability. The more money you spend on a pair of waders, theoretically, the more breathable they're going to be, and therefore that adds into your comfort. And then it's durability. The more expensive the wader, the more durable it should be. And that's going to translate into how long that pair of waders lasts. You know, there's one thing I can guarantee you, is that if we sell you a pair of waders, we'll put it in writing that they're going to leak, period. It's a matter of how long until that happens, and once it does, what kind of service you're going to get afterwards. If you're buying a pair of waders from us, or your local fly shop, you should get exceptional service, and you should get something when those waders leak. Also, make sure that the manufacturer that you're buying them from. We carry waders from Orvis, from Redington, Patagonia, Sims, and others, and all of them have good but different warranties. Make sure you know that warranty. Talk to the salesperson first. Pick up the phone and call us, and let's chat about it. But I will say, just use Sims as an example. I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. There's no question. Sims is the undisputed king of waders. They make a great product, and by far our #1 selling brand here at the shop. And just here's a couple of examples. This is the Sims Headwaters Pro Wader. It's not cheap, but it's not their most expensive. And it's good old regular Generation 1 Gore-Tex, good old-fashioned Gore-Tex. It's a great pair of waders. You go up to their G3 waders, and you're looking at Generation 3 Gore-Tex. It's probably 25% more breathable, 25% more durable. And then you go to the Generation 4, the G4 waders. They're again, and excuse me, we sold them the other day. G4 is Generation 4 Gore-Tex, again, more breathable, more comfortable, and more durable. Depends on how much you fish, of course. The Headwaters Pro may do you just fine. If you fish a little bit more, the G3s. If you don't care how much they cost and you want the best of the best, the G4s, no question. So there's the phone. Let's get back in the room and we'll wrap this up. Thanks again, Mark. I hope that helped you out. And hopefully we can get you into a set of waders. Jump on our website, everything's there. Feel free to call me also if you have further questions, and we can get you the right product on your budget. Be happy to help. And last but not least for today, John Virgo from Middletown, Ohio. John has quite a few questions, and I'm going to try to answer them, John. He says, I've been watching your videos and I've learned a great deal. I appreciate the fact that you are willing to commit resources to this endeavor on YouTube. Many thanks. When I get up near your shop, I'll be sure to stop in. Again, check out madriveroutfitters.com. But sure, we'd love to have you here in the shop, John. Look forward to it. My question is, how would you recommend choosing a fly? Wow, we get this question a lot, and I'm going to give it a try, and then I'm going to give you something to look forward to. I appreciate that one must go to the stream and observe bugs, hatches, weather, water flows, levels, but once that is done, how does one choose a fly? Pick 3 cases on a trout stream in central Pennsylvania. Number 1, a hatch occurring in late April, chilly morning fishing, cloudy, clear 58-degree water, normal flow, and air temp of 48. John, I gotta admit, man, my computer doesn't work that way. Here's, in that first scenario, there's a hatch occurring. All right, I'm immediately, okay, imagine a flow chart here, hatch occurring. The rest of the stuff there doesn't matter. Chilly morning, cloudy, really doesn't matter. 58-degree water, that's going to have to do with the hatch more so than the fish. And air temp of 48, again, it's going to have more to do with the hatch. Is there fish rising? Okay, flow chart. Yes, no. Okay, is there fish rising? No. I'm going to switch to a nymph or a streamer. Is there fish rising? Yes. I'm going to try to match that hatch, and I'm going to put the fly over top of rising fish. A 48-degree air temperature, chilly morning, cloudy, that's probably a blue wing olive hatch. We'll get into that. Afternoon in May, partly cloudy, no hatch. Clear, 60 degrees Fahrenheit, water flow normal, air temp 55. Again, that's a lot of stuff to think about. I'm not so sure. Maybe I'm going to look at this. Okay, there's no hatch going on. I'm probably not going to fish a dry fly. Terrestrial fishing in May usually hasn't kicked in yet, so there's no hatch going on. So I'm immediately going to go below the surface with a nymph or a streamer. You've got clear skies in this scenario. Streamers are going to tend to work a little bit better with overcast, but not a hard, fast rule. Waters at normal flow. Again, I like to fish streamers when the water's up a little bit, but again, not a hard, fast rule. I'm going to say throw a nymph. Okay, here we go. An evening in May. There's clouds, no hatch, slightly dirty water, 20 inches of visibility, 60 degrees Fahrenheit, normal flow, air temperature of 55. Well, slightly dirty water, and we've got cloudy skies. Sounds to me like a good opportunity to throw a streamer. Early and late, good times to fish streamers. Not a hard and fast rule, but kind of something that I tend to do is fish streamers early and late. So how would you go about choosing a fly? Wet, dry, streamer, and what size and what color? Big questions. And I tell you what, I'll try to give you an answer. If fish are rising to dry flies, I'll fish a dry fly. What size and color, I'll try to match that hatch. If they're not rising to dry flies, I'll fish a nymph or a streamer. You can always catch a fish on a nymph or a streamer. 95 to 98% of a fish's diet is below the surface. They're eating nymphs and they're eating other fish, okay? Your best case scenario, the sure bet is probably the nymph. Fish will always eat nymphs. Streamers can be hit and miss, although all fish, or at least most fish, eat other fish. So you can always fish a streamer. What size and what color? Size is overrated, although we're going to talk about that. Color. If you know what color the bait fish are in that stream, try to match that. If you know what color the nymphs are, which are brown, try to match that. You know, you could fish the rest of your life with a pheasant tail nymph and cover most, and then a green caddis larva, and cover most streams in the country. Hopefully, I've answered a couple of your questions there. It's a tough question and not something that can be answered just right away. So I want you to stay tuned and look forward to our Entomology 101 course. We've already started filming it. The first episodes will be released here shortly, but that's going to be a full-blown course on bugs, how they behave in the water, and then what flies to use to correspond to that. But not only what flies to use, but when to use them, and then how to make them act. I would say a great piece of advice for you, and you're going to hear me say this again in the entomology course, that if it looks like food, and just on a side note, if you bought a fly in a fly shop, it probably looks like food. But then if it acts like food, and that's where you need to understand a little bit about basic entomology and bugs, and they need to have the right leader and the right rod setup to make it act like food, okay? So if it looks like food and acts like food, they'll probably eat it. Remember that, and don't worry so much about the exact fly pattern. Throw that fly pattern out there if it's on the surface, if it's below the surface, if it's a streamer. If it's on the surface, either let it ride naturally with the current or skate it across the surface. If it's a nymph, either let it ride, bounce along the bottom, or articulate it, make it swim up like it's emerging. And if it's a bait fish, make it swim like it's trying to get away. Pretty simplistic, but I think that'll help you out. If it doesn't, let me know. Feel free to call the shop. We're always here, happy to answer your questions, John. And in the meantime, we will get a hat and a fly box on its way to Middletown, Ohio. We appreciate you tuning in. So there you go, another Q&A under our belts. Keep the questions coming. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tell all your friends and relatives about what we're doing so we can continue to afford to do it. Go to madriveroutfitters.com, shop around, and stay tuned because we've got a lot more coming at you. If you like this video, hit subscribe. It helps out a lot. And check out these videos. We think you might like them too.